Hello, welcome back to the Mervyn League podcast. Hey, Ash, good evening. How are you doing?
Good evening.
Good evening. It's
Very well,
so
thank you.
good. Yeah,
It's good to be
great to see you.
back on the show after a short hiatus.
Yes, it is. It's summer holiday time, isn't it? And in fact, we've done a direct swap, um, you for John, which I'm
Like
not
for
going to say
like.
is, yeah, well, that's much better than what I was going to say. I was going to say, refresh some tired legs, bit of an upgrade as we enter the final third of the summer. But
I'm on
like
for
for like,
pens.
yeah, exactly. That closing the game down. We've brought you in, the tactical
Mm,
mastermind. But
wow.
hey, it's great to see you. And tonight It's the start of the Premier League season. It's what 2 game weeks in. Carabao Cup's kicking off this week, but I thought we could start with everybody's uh, favorite pastime when it comes to the Premier League, and that is fantasy Premier League. Like it, loathe it. Ash, where do you stand on the Fantasy Premier League?
I'd say in general, I loathe it. I think I'm about 12 or 13 seasons on the trot. It does grind
Yeah.
me down, but I will be playing this season and next season.
Oh,
What
it's
about you,
already
Ben?
committed. That's the contract signed.
I've got I've got a lifetime contract. Can't quit.
Just that year-on-year extension. Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah, we're playing it, and I don't know how many years I've been doing it now, but I remember doing it with my dad at his workplace. He used to do before it was online, and he used to his someone in his office used to do the admin from the Sun newspaper, and I remember doing it then. It was all done on
Mm.
like a spreadsheet.
I
Um,
was going to say we play the official Fantasy Premier League
it's true.
as authorised by the Premier League,
Yeah,
but there are others out there, and I am always surprised when someone says, "Oh, you're not playing the Suns one." No, I'm not.
yeah,
I'm playing the
yeah.
official one.
The official one, and there's it's everywhere. There's EFL you can dive into. I know John likes to do a bit of the cycling fantasy, doesn't he? For all the
Mm.
different tours and another bit. I did the NBA one once with some friends, and it
Yeah.
was an absolute slog because there's games every day,
Mm.
and it completely tired me out. But
Yeah. I am
what?
doing Fantasy County Championship this year,
Oh
um,
yes,
but I don't follow it closely enough to know who's good.
make the
I
changes.
I think I just did a random pick and
Yeah.
I'm last.
What is your what the only way is up in that regard. So it's all to play for, Ash. But when it comes to fantasy, what is your tactic? Are you a set and forget? Are you a save up your free transfers, or just go, or are you gun ho triple captain week one, just gut feeling?
Well, in general, I'm too emotionally attached to players, so I don't tend to transfer them out. I tend to pick players that I like. Um, Figueroa from Wigan was in my team every year,
Yeah,
regardless. Um, as was Dan Gosling. He was in the team every year
yeah.
as a starter, regardless of whether he played or not.
Oh,
So
miss him.
it's not a good tactic. I think the best players, from what I've seen, are the ones who are ruthless, and they will make the changes even if it costs them money.
Yeah,
No loyalty. I'm too loyal
yeah.
to numbers and a name.
You're a man manager. You want to draw alongside the player, arm round him at the end of the game.
Yeah, I trust them. Like last season, I was like, Mudrik's going to have a great game next week.
Yeah,
I think I was just too into the fact that
too
he's
attached.
Ukrainian, and I wanted a Ukrainian to do well. But I haven't picked him this year. Well, actually, we'll probably come on to that in a moment.
Yeah,
I think.
absolutely.
Well, should we go into it now?
Yeah, go on, lead
The
us in.
fatigue, the fatigue has sort of set in with our fantasy league
It has.
playing. So we've picked teams on themes,
That's right.
um, not the best players. Just we've limited ourselves to picking players under a certain theme.
That's
So what
correct.
have you gone for, Ben?
Well, just say I think this was this inspired last year from John because he picked an all Brazilian team last year, didn't he? And
He
I think
did, yeah.
that one he just kind of set and forget and left it. But this year, what I've gone for This is my first time playing thematically, and so I went a bit safe, I must admit. Um, and I've gone for English players only,
Mm.
which I thought was going to do me really, really well. Because actually, when you look at the Premier League, there's a lot of great English talent. But then I remembered I've got Jordan Pickford in goal, and that he plays for Everton, and they don't necessarily do that well.
So
So
no other options? Is there anyone else you could have picked?
there are. I'm sure there are, but I think I also rushed putting my team together on like the day before
Well,
the
there's that
deadline.
too as well.
But there's other players, like fantastic players, like Phil Foden, who's yet to play. So he's been fantastic.
Have you got Cole Palmer
Um,
in there?
I have got Cole Palmer, who did really well in this game week. Uh, Saka, who's obviously fantastic. Bowen, and others. So I've got some good options, and I'm hoping they're just taking a bit of time to warm up. But I've gone for
Mm.
English players only, under the name Southgate Athletic. Um, I just wanted to hold on to Gareth just for a little bit longer. Um,
Yeah.
don the waistcoat one last time, and we'll see how we get on. But
Mm.
it's left me some options for transfers as well. Um, so we'll see. Southgate Athletic, all English, doing very well. Ash, who have you gone for? What's your inspiration? Because yours is genius. I love
I've
yours.
gone for players who, well, the team name is Come On My Son, and I've picked players who have Son in their name. So I've got Son Heung-min, obviously.
Obviously,
I did have Richarlison. I did switch him out though because there seems to be quite a lot of Sons at Tottenham.
yeah,
There's Brennan Johnson, James Maddison, as well as Richarlison.
yeah,
So yeah, they're all Sons. It's not too bad a team, but I think what we're going to be hurt by is the fact that none of us can pick Haaland and captain him. And
yeah.
I think that's the only like big certain player in the Premier League at the
Yes,
moment.
that we, particularly off of which we'll come on to a bit later when we talk about football proper. But a hat trick against newly promoted Ipswich, yeah, massively hurt us all. And I think just to say that John's team, he's gone. His team is called Ale, and he's gone for French players only. And Alfie's, which I think when we saw his team name, it took us a while for the penny to drop. But he's called his club S Club 11. And Ash, tell us what's behind Alfie's team?
Is it players that start with the letter S
Correct.
surname?
Correct.
Yeah, I
Yes.
feel like that's
So
actually probably quite. You could probably pick some good players from
yeah,
that.
I mean, he's got Mo Salah, Saka, Son. So he's already got a blend of our teams in there
Mm.
already.
He is
Smith
top at the
Rowe,
moment.
he is top in our league, and which I may say when I talk about the Mervyn League podcast, people sort of say, "Oh, what's with the name? What's with the name?" And obviously that's what we've called our different iterations. We've called our fantasy league the Mervyn League. That was what it was because that's where we used to
Mm.
live years ago at university together on Mervyn Road. But I'm sure there are many out there before you go and pinpoint it and knock on that door.
Dox
But
us.
exactly, don't follow
No
us. But
doxing.
we're not there anymore. We're not there anymore. But the Mervyn League, that was named after our fantasy league, wasn't it? So that's for inspiration for those who ask. That's where our name comes from. But you said that's right. Alfie's currently in our league, top of the tree. Then I'm in second. Then you're in third, very close. And then
I
down at the
think I'm going
bottom,
to have to rely on Son quite a lot.
a lot.
There's not too many other big point scorers in there. Nicholas Jackson did get one at the
Yeah,
weekend, but his previous goal scoring record is not great. And I don't
across
have
the
many options
season.
to transfer him out.
No, I think that's going to be a big one for you. As your options for transfers is going to be quite. I mean, obviously, any Robertson, Johnson,
Hmm.
there's
Jefferson. I've got Jefferson from
Wilson.
Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a few, but I think that was going to be quite challenging.
Defensively, I'm very weak.
Yeah.
I can't get four starters. That's the main
That is
issue.
okay. So have
Or
you had to
even three
compromise?
starters. I can't get three. That's
Okay. But I think it would be obviously interesting to see how the year and the season progresses because I thought an all French team would do quite well, and I don't know if that's just because they're I don't know warming up or getting into it or not. But I'm surprised at the moment. John is quite a way away at the bottom of the league.
who are their big point scorers though. There's no um, big name strikers.
Well,
You
he's
kind of
got
need that person you can captain every week. You'll get a goal every other
yeah.
week or better, and then you can just at
Well,
least guarantee a certain amount of points from your captain.
yeah. Well, he's got. I think he's got Saliba at the back, which for Arsenal, I mean, is going to be hopefully for him many clean sheets and lots of points, odd corner goals and things. But he did have in there Roman Favre from Bournemouth. He put him in, and then I think about 2 days later we sent him out on a season-long loan. So he's got
Yeah,
changes to make. So, not that he would have brought in many points anyway, but I think there are. We'll see how he gets on. But as it stands, it could be a very tight three-horse race in this league at the moment. And John, if you're listening,
yeah,
you've got a bit of ground to make up.
he
But
does.
but I thought so we've gone for names that very much link to the identity of our teams, and a big part of choosing your team is the team name. A big part of the fun, all the puns,
Mm,
all the kind of one-liner things we can get into our
yeah,
team name. Have you had any good ones in the past? I was trying to wrap my brain of some of my previous teams. I
I don't
mean,
think I've
last.
had any good ones, but I have once before clicked report offensive name. I did.
Oh,
I can't remember what the name was, but
okay.
that's horrible.
Yeah.
Which is just terrible. Man. I'm such a snitch. But
Yeah. Yeah,
report
that is
offensive name. I always see that there, that option.
that option. Just, did you ever do it to someone who's
Mm.
like just above you and you're like, actually, if I
Oh
can get them
yeah,
kicked
yeah,
out,
yeah.
I'll climb
That's
up
it.
the
Yeah,
league. Um, last year I had What Are You Doing? Named after Dango Watara, Bournemouth winger. But I think it was quite niche to those who knew Bournemouth's bench, basically.
yeah,
So it wasn't the best one. But I have got a list of fancy pun names. I thought I'd read a few out, and maybe we could vote on which one we think is the best. So
yeah.
I'll run through
Sounds
a
good.
few, and then I'll pick out some of the good ones. So we've got Stranger Mings after Tyrone Mings, Finding Timo, uh, Dude Where's Micah, as in like Micah Richards. I
Yeah,
quite
that's
like that
quite good.
one.
Yeah,
Um, Thomas the Frank Engine. Thomas Frank is the Brentford manager. It's pretty good. Lana Del Rey. I think I see that one most years, actually. Lana Del
yeah,
Rey. That one comes up. Um,
yeah. No good.
very
I
creative
haven't
here.
Kalu. That always comes up.
Sorry?
Haven't a
Haven't
Kalu. That one always
yeah,
comes
that
up.
one
I've
does
seen
come
that
up.
one many times.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Um,
What I
I
interrupted you. Yeah,
hadn't seen
what
this
was
one
that one?
before, which I really liked, which was Earth, Wind, Maguire, which I thought was
Yeah,
excellent. Very, very good. Um, other ones, Rice Rice Baby, Snoop Your Doggy Doggy, um, Chicken Tikka Mosala, again another good one. The Harland Globetrotters, uh, Pianic at the Disco for those sort of mid noughties emo indies out there. Um, Old Havertz Kai Hard, which I thought was very clever.
Mhm.
For Kai Havertz, bit of a stretch for that one for you. Cancelo Culture, Gross Misconduct, Pascal Gross, Back of the Netto, and for all of the Alan Partridge fans out there, Jotter than the Sun. So some great ones in there. Some great ones. I'm gonna pick three, and I want to know which one you think is the best. So I'm gonna go
Okay,
for
yeah.
Thomas the Frank Engine, Chicken Tikka Mosala, and then I'm gonna go Pianic at the Disco because Pianic at the Isco, even better.
Oh yeah,
Pianic at the Isco,
that's doubled up. Well,
yeah,
we'll go for Pjanic at the
yeah,
Isco.
at the
We'll
Isco,
go for that one because that's 2 for 1.
a 2 for 1, exactly.
Bargain.
So, but drop a comment in wherever you're listening to this if you've come up with a better name. If we need inspiration for next year.
Please do, and I'll nick it for next year.
Yeah, we'll nick it for next year. But hey, let's move on and let us talk about our favourite Saturday afternoon pastime, the Premier League. So, Ash, week 2 of the Premier League has just concluded. And what are there any conclusions that we can draw so far from the opening 2 game weeks? We've got wins for Arsenal, wins for City, Liverpool, the usuals. Are we bracing ourselves just for another same old, or are we going to see any changes, any upsets? What do you think? What have you seen so far?
Well, I think Chelsea is chaos, and it might not just be negative chaos; it might be good chaos as well. A 6-2 away victory at Wolves, very impressive. Lots of different scorers, lots of names I'm not really familiar with.
Yeah,
it could be a good chaos on and off the field. Lots for us to talk about, which is good as well.
Oh, yeah.
They're definitely going to be buying Conor Gallagher back for twice the amount in 2 seasons' time. That's exactly what's going to happen. João Felix, he scored.
He's back.
I thought that was a terrible transfer for them because he was not great when he was there before. He's been terrible in general when he's been out at Barcelona. The last couple of seasons at Atletico Madrid, he's not been great.
No.
So 60 million or whatever it was they paid for him.
Yeah. I think it was more
he's ready to prove me wrong.
Yeah, 40 or something. But
was it 40?
Rise.
Okay.
Yeah, but it could rise.
A lot of money for someone who's got a lot of question marks over him. But he scored, and who knows?
Yeah. At one point, he was one of the most expensive players ever, at like over 100 million, back when that was still quite new. And sort of, I think a lot of talent, but it's just never been realised. And maybe a second crack of the whip at Chelsea. Who knows?
Yeah. Or there'll be a swap deal for Conor Gallagher.
Yeah.
Conor Gallagher. And plus money from Chelsea, probably.
I don't know if you saw, actually.
That's probably what I see happening. But
Conor Gallagher, he was Chelsea in the academy. I think he's been there for like his whole career, basically, until this point. And then at his unveiling at Atletico Madrid, I don't know if you happen to come across this, but they did a special. The whole ground was full. I think it was before a game, and this crazy light show. They had motorbikes, pyrotechnics, and he walked down, and I mean, it instantly, for someone who has grown up in a club and has basically been told, we don't want you anymore. And I think lots of fans loved him, but obviously the manager doesn't see him as part of the plans. But then to go somewhere else where you've never played, and you're not a big star name, but for everybody there to be chanting his name, going absolutely nuts for him, he's going to think, fantastic, these people love me. Like, no matter what I do, I thought I was loved at my last place. I'm not great. I'm going to find a new home here. And a part of me hopes he does really well because, I think he's not been treated well at Chelsea and how it's gone. But only time will tell what happens. But maybe go and find it if you can. Just his unveiling at Atleti, it is absolutely bananas. You'd think they'd spent like 100 million on a star striker, but it is only Conor Gallagher. I just thought I came across another image of Chelsea's team about who they could put out, and they've got about 7 goalkeepers, about 8 centre backs, about 5 wing backs. They've got about 8 centre mids. They've got about 6 wingers, and they've got about 7 strikers. And it's absolutely bananas, isn't it? I mean, do you think it's going to be new names every week, just on the team sheet? How is Maresca going to get cohesion out of this squad?
It's going to take some time. You've still got players they rumors are they're on their way out anyway. But you've got players like Sterling
Yeah.
making announcements, public
Statements.
announcements,
Yeah.
statements. Yeah, it's going to be very hard for them, but hopefully, at least from a Chelsea perspective, within that rough squad, there is the core of a team there. I'm sure Maresca's got his ideas,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's going to take some time. And at Chelsea as well, historically, they haven't given managers that long.
No.
Certainly not Ten Hag kind of length of
Length of
chances.
leash.
So
Yeah.
length of leash, yes, yeah. So I'm interested to see what happens there. I'm quite intrigued, to be
Yeah.
honest. It's very entertaining.
I, Entertaining is the word. I think they're sort of not everybody's second team, but like the team that everybody wants to watch because you have no idea what's going to happen. Like I wouldn't be surprised if next week they they go out and get spanked 4-0 because they've made like 2 changes and it's completely decimated the balance of the squad or something. But it's going to be great fun to watch them. And more potential signings, potentially Jadon Sancho, Sterling going, and Kepa.
They're talking of signing Jadon Sancho.
From what I've seen online, from what I've read,
It's madness.
I kind of on one level would really like it to happen, just to see what happens.
Yeah.
But as John sort of mentioned last time, you can't get excited when a new signing is announced because there are just so many. Well, let's move on from the madness that is Chelsea, and let's talk maybe about the calm, surgical, clinical-like teams of City and Arsenal. John and I did our predictions last time. Ash, who do you think is going to win? And is it going to be one of those two?
Yes, I think it will be. And I'm going to nail my Arsenal flag to the mast and say that Arsenal will be the Premier League champions in May 2025.
Wow. That's
I say it with no confidence, but I've said it, and I'm nailing my colours.
Yeah.
My Arsenal colours to the mast.
You think it's their time?
I think so. I feel like Manchester City haven't really made any signings, not that they necessarily need to. And I mean, it's going to be close. They're going to be there or thereabouts. It's probably going to be like last season. Again, I'm probably biased in this. I'm not an Arsenal fan, but there's something more beautiful about them than Manchester City.
Yeah, you just don't want City to win.
That's kind of it. Yeah. So it might not be. It might be head speaking. It could be heart. I don't know, but Arsenal will win the Premier League.
Yeah, I like that. I think we've all said that so far. We think it's going to be their time, and obviously, they played over the weekend, beat Aston Villa, who they didn't last season, didn't score a goal against, didn't get any points from it. So, big one for them done. I think they've got a bit of a tricky start, but I think they've got City in a couple of games. I think they've got Tottenham soon as well. So I think if they can get over some of those early sort of big hurdles, it could be that they're off by the time Christmas comes. But that Man City juggernaut just keeps going, doesn't it? Gets that second wind after Christmas, and they've just re-added Ilkay Gundogan, who's returned back from Barcelona. So
that is a good signing.
Yeah, who knows? Very, very exciting. So if Arsenal are going to win it for you, City coming in second, I imagine for you.
Yeah.
Who else? Who are the other two that make your top four?
I'm going to say it will be. It will be.
Thought.
Yeah, this is a big call here.
You can't rush it.
You can't rush it. I'm going to make sure I'm sure about what I'm saying here. Okay, I'm going to be boring. I'm going to say it'll be Liverpool in third, And I'm going to say Chelsea in fourth.
You think the chaos is going to be enough?
I think they've got the ingredients for a really great team there. It's just trying to sort out the wheat from the chaff.
Yes.
There'll be a lot of wheat and chaff sorting this season for them.
Yeah.
If they can do that early on, I think they have got some really great players there. Some players that, like Nicholas Jackson last season, he showed a sort of lack of inexperience rather than a lack of quality, I would say. He was always there in the right place. It's just that final product wasn't there for him. So if a player like him can get between 10 and 15 goals this season, that will be huge for them.
Well, yeah, he
So
snatched quite a
they've
few,
got
didn't
some
he?
rough diamonds there.
Yeah. I think he ended up with something like 17 goals across all competitions last year. So I think he did well, but I think he's kind of like a Darwin Núñez figure, isn't he? Like, you remember his misses because, as you say, he's in the right place and he takes so many chances and he misses so many. But then obviously he does score, you know, every 1 out of 6 shots or whatever. But yeah, interesting with Chelsea. I love it. I love it. I love the sort of the different permutations of the top fours. It is going to be exciting to see what happens. Liverpool, just briefly, you had them in as your third place team. I think I put them as my third place team. Arne Slot, he's come in. He's slotted in very nicely to this Liverpool team. And I mean, I think they probably have enough. They've still got such a great squad. They've not really added. Don't know if they have added to their squad yet. But I think he's going to be very different to Jurgen Klopp, who was very much the sort of like get the fans and the up and down the touchline, the fist pumps at the end of the game. I think he's going to be a bit more measured. I don't know if it's like a Dutch thing, but I think he's just be a bit more measured, and he's not going to be enamored with like the names or things. I think he's going to make the tough calls as and when he needs to. I think he's going to be quite ruthless, and I think that will. I think he's going to command a lot of respect from within the dressing room. So therefore, he's going to get the result.
Although there are rumours that Trent is not happy. Was he subbed off at the weekend, or?
Yeah, he was. But
I saw a video of him looking kind of sulky on the bench. But
yes,
yeah, you can read
Slot
too much
went
into
over
that.
to him. I think Slot went over to him and sort of sat him down and sort of said, "Look, this is why I've done this. Like, don't worry about it." And I think they sort of smiled, and it could just be all niceties because the cameras are on them. But I don't know. I think he seems to be one of those coaches that's like, no, if this isn't working for the good of the team rather than the individuals, it could be very interesting. But there's still enough about them, isn't there? You've got Mo Salah.
Oh, for sure.
You've got Jota. You've got Louise. Van Dijk.
I rate Darwin Núñez personally. I think he's a great player.
I love him. I love him because he's such a character on the field, isn't he? He's he can be the class clown, he can be the lethal finisher, he can do but you just don't know which one you're going to get, and that for me, it's entertainment. It's like Chelsea, you just never know.
Exactly.
Let's move on just to have a little look at the other end of the table. So Leicester City have come up, Ipswich come up, Southampton. What do you make of those three? And who's impressed you? And then afterwards, let's get your bottom three. Who's going to go down? So
yeah, I think Leicester have got enough about them to win games. I don't think they're going to be particularly high up in the division, but they will win games. They might get thrashed a few games here and there, but with someone like Vardy, tight game, he'll probably bag a few winners.
Yeah.
So I think they'll be all right.
Yeah.
I haven't looked too much into either Southampton or Ipswich, so I can't say too much, but I think it'll be difficult for them to stay up.
Yeah.
Everton have lost their first 2 games, but with Sean Dyche, I think they're going to have enough. Whether he will last the season and whether the owners get twitchy or something like that, that could derail them. Because again, I don't think that Everton's squad is particularly strong.
No, they've lost. They've lost one
Um,
or two as well with FPS.
yeah, who are the other contenders to be at the bottom there? Nottingham
Uh,
Forest.
Forest. I'd put them in my bottom three. They got a point
Yeah,
last week against us. Beat Southampton, but only 1-0. But yeah, I don't. They've got one or two great players, but I still don't think there's enough about them. I think they'll be down there, near or nearabouts.
what
Towards
about
the end.
Bournemouth? Where are they this season?
I think we're comfortably mid-table
Yeah,
for us. I think what I said last time was I think success would look like top 10. That would be like, as in, I think that's the goal. Success is maintaining solid mid-table status. I think we don't want to be fighting for relegation. I think that's. I think we're too good for that, and we shouldn't be there. I think success is kind of stability, but top 10 I think is the goal for sure. I watched the game yesterday with the kids, and I made my daughter jump when we scored the last minute, what we thought was the winner, as I was cheering on the sofa. And then ruthlessly, VAR intervened and denied that Dango Watara goal. But I think, we'll be there in the middle, somewhere solid. So we'll see. We've got Evan Nilsson in to replace Dom Solanke, similar kind of profile of player. Had
I could
Champions
sign him
League.
actually for my fantasy Premier League team.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah,
He showed some good movement yesterday. Don't know how long he'll take to adjust, but yeah, he scored a hat trick in the Champions League last season. It's nuts. Maybe this is a topic for another time, but it's nuts to think that this guy was playing Champions League football last season, and he's now just become Bournemouth's record signing with no European football this season at all. And who knows if we will next season or not, or ever. But he's obviously, for him, the goal is Premier League, playing in the Premier League, isn't it? And this obviously is a good stepping stone. But it is nuts to think that little old Bournemouth splashing 40 million on a Brazilian international striker. It's the
yeah,
state of football at the minute, isn't it?
it is. It's like Burnley signing Ronaldinho's son, that kind of thing.
Yes, he did, didn't he? That's a very Scott Parker kind of move, I think. Scott Parker in charge of Burnley this season. Flashy,
Yeah.
just get a name out there. I mean, I've no idea if he's any
Yeah.
good.
No, I haven't a clue either. He could be a George Weah's cousin kind of thing again.
Oh my goodness, that's the is that the story with Graham Souness?
I can't remember. Was it Southampton? I can't remember,
Yeah,
but
that's right.
somebody claiming to be George Weah's cousin
That's right. And clearly,
turned out was not
yeah.
George Weah's cousin.
Oh my, that is a great story. We will have to share that one another time. But yeah, who knows? Ronaldinho's son gracing Burnley's turf more this season. Well, I hope he does well. But yeah, I don't know. So who are you tipping to go down?
I'm going to go with Ipswich. Who were the other teams that went up? Not Leicester. The other team, Southampton for the drop. And I'm going to say Everton.
You think their final season at Goodison is going to be more like goodbye, son? See you next time.
Well, I think it depends on if they stick with Sean Dyche or not. I don't know what the kind of mood is there at the moment, but if they jump ship early with him, then they could be in trouble.
Yeah.
Stick with him and you'll finish 17th.
You'll finish just where you need to. Yeah. Okay, Everton, they're funny old bunch. I mean, who knows? He could be a crazy narrative. Let's say he does get sacked early. and then he gets the England job. Could you imagine Sean Dyche, England manager? Oh,
Is that what we want?
shivers down my spine.
Is this a segue? Is this a segue?
This is not a segue. What? It could be a segue into very, very sad news that today Sven-Göran Eriksson, former English manager, passed away. I did a little bit of reading just before. He was England's first foreign manager, and he was at the helm of the golden generation: Beckham, Lampard, Gerrard, all of those guys. He was the manager at the 5-1 win against Germany in Munich. He was the manager at the 2-2 draw, that last-minute Beckham free kick. We beat Argentina that following World Cup. He had some good ones, but yeah. Anything that from Sven's time that sticks out for you, or?
Yeah, I mean, we were one fluky Ronaldinho free kick away from a semi-final in 2002. It's a long time ago, but I do remember that game quite vividly, even though I wouldn't have been that old. That game, if it had gone another way, who knows what would have happened? I think we would have been the strongest team left in the tournament.
Yeah.
But there you go. That's football. You can get a fluke. Let's face it, it was fluky, right? He didn't mean it.
Seaman off his line.
Ronaldinho didn't mean it.
No. Well, we can ask his
Probably.
son.
I don't know. But yeah, no, Sven. I think looking back, we should remember him quite fondly as England manager, and I get a sense that he was probably a pretty nice bloke as well.
Yeah.
There was that great Sven-Göran Eriksson song that probably reached sort of 25 in the charts as well, which 10-year-old me really enjoyed.
Yeah. How did it go?
I thought it was an absolute banger, as the kids would say these days.
How did it go? I don't remember it.
Sven, Göran Eriksson.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember the rest.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. It's just one of those on repeat one-liners.
There were some lyrics, actually, but it was in the charts. I remember seeing it on Top of the Pops.
No way. It was. I assume not him performing it. It's not like an ode to himself.
There may have been a guy in a wig. Actually, I do also remember that there was a news story about, I don't think it was like a 10-year-old kid, and he went to the barber's and he asked for a Sven-Göran Eriksson haircut, supposedly without his parents' permission, and he got that shaved, right around the top, like the kind of, I don't know what that look would be, but
wow,
yeah, I don't know. He was a character.
Quite a tuck. Yeah, he was. He was.
He was a character in a good way, I think.
Yeah, I think you do look back on him fondly. I think compared to some of the other managers we've had, I do think of Sven fondly. And I read one thing from Didi Haman's biography, and he said he recalled a story one day where he was sat by the pool somewhere, and Sven-Göran Eriksson came over with a silver tray and 2 glasses of champagne, and he sort of says to him, he's like, "Oh, like Sven, like what's this for? It's like 10 o'clock in the morning. What are we doing?" And he sits down and says, "This is," and he said, "This for us. It's time to celebrate." And he said, "What are we celebrating?" And Sven just says, "Life." And they cheers, and then they have a glass of champers at 10 o'clock in the morning poolside. So
very nice. Yeah.
What a thing to toast to. And to Sven. A toast to Sven.
A toast to Sven, yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's leave it there for this week. And very exciting, next week, Ash, we're gonna be in person. We're heading off to the cricket. England's third and final test against Sri Lanka. It's gonna be very exciting. Get the whole gang together for that. So we'll do that. In the meantime, the Premier League is still rumbling on. Carabao Cup is kicking off this week. All the European stuff's happening. It's very, very exciting. buckle up, get your transfers in early for Come On My Son,
Show
and
no loyalty.
yeah,
At the end
cutthroat.
of the day, they won't show it back to you. They will go for a better contract
Yeah,
if there's
they'll
one
put
out
their
there.
own statements out and everything.
Mm.
But we will see you all next time on the Mervyn League podcast. Let us know your fantasy team names, and we will see you soon. Bye bye.